All right, students, you might notice that we're starting topic 8. We are not taking a test over topic 7 right now because you just got through taking your third 9 weeks test and we don't want another test so quickly. So we're going to go right on into topic 8, which is about statistics. Statistics is a little different, and some people really like it, some people don't, but it's just like anything else. So let's learn it and let's do good on it. On page 469, you need pages 469 through 473 tore out of your book. On page 469, it says that lesson 8.1 is about recognizing statistical questions. We need to know what makes a statistical question. And we're going to talk about that as we go through this lesson. Solve and discuss. Mrs. Jackson wrote a question on the board, and then she collected student responses to the question and recorded them on a tally chart. What question could she have asked? And is there more than one possible response to the question? All right, well, let's look at this tally chart. The title is books, so it's something about books. The title is books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there are 6 different responses. I know that just by looking at the chart. Now, it might be, how many books did you read last month? 3 people didn't read any, 5 people read 1, 6 people read 2, 4, 3, 2, 4, and 1 read 5. Okay, so it says, what question could she have asked? So I'm going to put, how many books did you read last month? Okay? Let's look at the focus on math practices. Suppose Miss Jackson wants to know the amount of time her students spent outdoors the previous afternoon. What question might she ask each student to gather the data? See, this right here is data. One way to show data. So what question might she ask each student in order to gather data about what they did in the afternoons? Okay? How much time did you spend outside after school? That should get a response, don't you think? Okay, so far there's not been a lot of math. Do you agree? We haven't done any numbers yet. We're talking words here. We're not doing math really, but it is still math. Turn the paper over. Look at example 1. The essential question at the top says, how are statistical questions different from other questions? And the definition is right down here below example 1. A statistical question always has variability. Variability means there's not just one right answer. It has a range of right answers. Okay? Range of responses. Okay? Go back to example 1. Mr. Borden asked his students a question and recorded the data in a table. What question did Mr. Borden ask? What is the area of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of notebook paper? Does that just have one answer? It does. There's only one right answer to that, so that can't be it. How many sheets of paper did you use last week? Well, one student used 5 and one student used 10. Oh, that could be it. So that could work. I'll put a check mark by that because it could work. Did Bill use notebook paper to write his book report? That would be a yes or no. So it would not be this one, would not be this one. To get a range of answers, it would have to be that question right there. Okay, are you starting to recognize them? All right, so remember, a statistical question has a variability in the responses. It has a range of responses. The questions, how many sheets of paper did you use last week, have a range of answers to it, so it is a statistical question. The questions, what's the area of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and did Bill use notebook paper, only have one answer. Okay? You can also display the answers to Mr. Borden's question in a bar graph. So this is a tally chart. These are tally marks. And this is a bar graph. A bar graph has spaces between the bars, and the bar is centered above the number that goes with it. So see this 5? So that means that there's one person that used 5 sheets of paper. There's one person that used 10 sheets of paper. There is 2 people that use 15 sheets of paper, and so forth and so on. Okay? We're going to do another one that looks kind of like this. It's called a histogram. And histograms don't have spaces in between them. So you got to understand that bar graphs have spaces between the bars, and they're centered over the number that they're speaking about. All right, try it. Is the question, what was the high temperature on March 8th of last year, a statistical question? Is that a does it have more than one answer? No, it's not a statistical question because there is only one answer. Now, how could you change that question above to make it a statistical question? Okay, March. Okay, so what were the daily high temperatures for each day in March? Do you think some of those might have the same temperature? Yeah, they might. There might be 2 or 3 days that were 65 or 53 or what have you. So there could be a range there. All right, so far we have seen data displayed in a tally chart. We've seen it in a bar chart. Look at this one. Lucia surveyed the students in her class and made a dot plot. This is called a dot plot. What question could Lucia have asked? Look at the title, Students' Weekly Exercise, and these right here could represent different types of exercise. Ooh, nobody liked this one. Okay, so the dot plot shows the number of days different students exercise each week. Statistical question Lucia could have asked is, how many days do you exercise each week? Okay, and then what could be another question that we could come up with? What did I just say? Okay, what type of exercise did you prefer? See, this might be the treadmill. This might be the Stairmaster. This might be the rowing machine. Each one of these could represent a different machine. Okay? Going to example number 3. Use data to identify a statistical question with 2 answers. What comes to my mind is a yes or no or a true or false. Okay, Dante surveyed students to see how they feel about proposal to choose a new school mascot. The frequency table shows the results. What question did Dante likely ask, and is this a statistical question? Dante likely asked a question such as, do you want a new mascot? Some are going to say yes and some are going to say no. There are only 2 answers, yes or no. Because there is more than one answer, it is a statistical question. So yes or no's are considered statistical. True or false is considered statistical. How could Dante change his statistical question so that there would be more than 2 possible answers? Okay. I know you're thinking. So they could just say, what mascot would you prefer? And then he could offer some choices. Okay, once again, we've not worked with any numbers here today. This is totally different than what we've been doing, isn't it? Okay, look at your key concept. To recognize and write statistical questions, determine whether the question has only one answer or several different answers. Statistical questions have a variety of different answers. How many nickels are in a dollar? Not statistical. Which former U.S. president appears on a nickel? That's not statistical. There's only one. How many nickels do students carry in their backpacks? Ooh. Now that's got many answers, I bet you. So that's the only one that is statistical. At this point, get your vocabulary. Set this aside for a moment and get your vocabulary page, please. We're going to go through here and we're going to decide if these are statistical or not. If you ask, how many siblings do you have to a class full of people, would that be statistical or not? Well, it would be statistical because nobody has the same, or very few people have the same. And do you have a pet? We're asking our class, do you have a pet? Someone's going to have 1, someone's going to have 2, that would be statistical. Do you prefer red, green, or yellow apples? That's got more than one answer. That's statistical. How many stars are on the flag? Is it going to change? No. So that's not statistical. It is what it is. Okay? How many faces does the cube have? It always has 6. So it is not statistical. What's your favorite holiday? Well, there's a lot of holidays and nobody's going to say the same thing, probably. What time does school start? There's only one answer, so that's not statistical. Are you getting the idea? We're asking ourselves, does it have one answer or many answers? Does it have one or more than one? If it has one, it's not statistical. If it has more than one, it's statistical. How many hours did you study for the test? Everybody probably did something different, so that is statistical. How many students have brown eyes? Their eyes are not going to change. How many students have brown eyes? You're going to count them, and that's going to be it. Not statistical. What is going to be a number, one answer. What color eyes do students in the class have? Oh, now that's different. That's statistical. Because there's going to end up being green and blue and brown and hazel and all kinds of things. Number 11, what class do you have during first period? Everybody's not going to have the same one. That's statistical. How many yards long is the football field? It's not going to change. It is what it is. 100 yards. Okay. A little practice there on what is statistical and what is not. Okay, back to page 472. Do you understand? How are statistical questions different from other questions? They have more than one right answer. Number 2, how does examining the answers to a question help you determine if the question is statistical? If it has more than one right answer, comma, it is statistical. If it has more than one right answer, it's statistical. Number 3, write a question about movies that your classmates saw last month. Is the question you wrote a statistical question? And justify your response. Okay, we're going to write a statistical question about movies. Okay, we're going to all do the same thing. So what can we say? How can we ask a question that has more than one answer? Okay, what movies did you see last month at the Clovis movie theater? I would presume there would be more than one right answer to that. All right, number 4. Choose which is a statistical question, and we're going to circle it when we figure it out. What are the ages of the students in this class? How many pennies equal $1? We know it's not that one. We're going to circle the statistical question. That's the statistical question. Now, explain. There are always 100 pennies in each dollar. So it is not statistical. See, it doesn't matter which one you describe. You can describe the one that is and the one that isn't, because the other one is the other one. Okay? The one we circled is the statistical one. A little more practice here. Determine which of these questions below are statistical questions. Determine which of these questions below are statistical questions. In which months are the birthdays of everyone in your class? Let's see. We're just going to write STAT for statistical. And we're going to write not, S-T-A-T, on the others. Does Sue wear glasses? Well, we're going to look at her or ask her or something, and that is not statistical. She either does or she doesn't. That's not statistical. Who is the current president of the United States? Well, it's not statistical. Because it's Joe Biden. Like it or not, it's Joe Biden. Only one. D, how tall are the students in grade 6? Are they all going to be the same height? So that is statistical. What is the least populated state? Well, we're going to go look up the population of all the states and find there's only going to be one. So that is not statistical. How many fish are in the pond? Well, if we had a way to count them, it would be some number, so that is not statistical. It is however many is in the pond. Okay, number 6. Mr. Borden asked his students, how far from school do you live? Is his question a statistical question? Well, I hope everyone would say yes, because we all live different distances. We all live different distances from school. So that is a statistical question. Then Mr. Borden also asked his students, how do you get to school each day? Is it statistical? Well, we could walk, we could ride a bike, we could hitch a ride with a friend, our parents could take us. There's a variety of ways to get to school. So that's a yes. There is a variety of ways to get to school. There is a variety of ways to get to school. Okay, by this time you should be recognizing the difference between a statistical question and a non-statistical question. Okay, so you're going to do practice and problem solving today. There is 2, 4, 6 problems on this page. Make sure if you need to write, you write where your teacher can read it. And think about the questions before you just scribble down some answer. Okay? All right, I'm going to leave you alone to get busy. You have Classroom Teacher at your disposal. And get busy, and I will see you next time.